We are blocking ourselves from finding solutions and ways forward because we are deciding that we simply cannot know. And what else is your brain going to do? It's not going to argue with you about the fact that you don't know, especially if you believe that's true. So many of us justify not getting started or not making progress on the things that matter to us simply because we use the answer, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it would look like. I don't know how. I've never done it before. We use this to justify staying in action. And this is where we confuse setting an intention to do something with actually doing something. The reality of the matter is you probably are sitting here watching this thinking to yourself of a project, a goal, a habit that you've been wanting to build for a long time, and yet you still haven't started. Most of the time in your life, if you look back at the things that you have figured out along the way, you probably didn't know how you were going to do it in the beginning. Your commitment to the why and maybe even to the end result and why that result matters to you is what kept you showing up for it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Nicole, your life and business coach for high-functioning, ambitious women who want to step out of the hustle and lean back into your abundance and experience life in a more aligned and purposeful way. So today we are continuing the series, What to Say Instead of Blank, because we know how important it is to watch our words. Our words create and shape our world. And whether or not you like it, you are programming your reality by what you are choosing to think and say. So that's why in this series, we are giving you some language pattern swaps to make today to start shifting your reality. If you haven't watched the previous videos that I have uploaded in this series, you can check out the playlist in the description below and catch up on all the episodes of this series. Now, today, the specific topic we're going to be diving into is what to say instead of I don't know. So I don't know is something that we say all of the time. The reality is saying I don't know is one of the most ineffective language patterns that we have. And most of the time we're saying it unintentionally and unconsciously. It's something that as a society we have normalized and we have kind of made it a joke. Like we laugh at when we don't know. We just say, I don't know, haha. And we just let that be the end of the road for us. And for many of us, this creates a self-sabotaging loop, particularly if we are wanting to launch a new business, start a new project, build a new habit, and so on. The pattern of I don't know and saying these words to yourself consciously or unconsciously is really rooted in a lack of self-confidence. Yes, your brain maybe has a lot of learning to do or maybe has never had experience or exposure to a certain thing, and that's why it's assuming that you don't know. But in reality, think of the most confident people that you know, the ones who are obnoxiously confident that they're willing to attempt it even if you know that they don't got a clue. This is confidence at its finest. And when you attempt anything in your life from a position of confidence, you are more likely to attempt it confidently and courageously, which therefore allows you to think more freely, to problem solve more effectively, and to get the actual results that you want simply because you're willing to try over and over and over again. So many of us justify not getting started or not making progress on the things that matter to us simply because we use the answer, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it would look like. I don't know how. I've never done it before. We use this to justify staying in action. And this is where we confuse setting an intention to do something with actually doing something. The reality of the matter is you probably are sitting here watching this thinking to yourself of a project, a goal, a habit that you've been wanting to build for a long time, and yet you still haven't started. You are likely repeating this sentence, I don't know, in your mind, every time you are invited by your own higher self, or perhaps when you learn or feel inspired to take action, you respond with the sentence, I don't know, and you let that be the cap to your progress. So that's why in this video, I'm going to help you with 5 language swaps to use every time you hear yourself reverting back to I don't know. But before I get into it, I just want to say, one of the things that I do for the clients that I coach in my life coaching and my business coaching containers is I don't let them say I don't know. Ask any of them. They will tell you, I don't know is not allowed in my coaching containers. This is because neurologically, you tell your brain to stop looking for evidence and to stop creatively thinking of solutions every time you say, I don't know. It's just like when you say, I know. And I mentioned this in the previous video, what to say instead of it's not working. When you say I know or I don't know, you're swinging to the ultimate ends of the spectrum. And this is essentially you deciding for yourself that it is a definite. It is a definite knowing or it's a definite not knowing. Now, when we use the word I don't know in relation to a goal that we have that we actually want to move through, we are blocking ourselves from finding solutions and ways forward because we are deciding that we simply cannot know. And what else is your brain going to do? It's not going to argue with you about the fact that you don't know, especially if you believe that's true. So this is why these language swaps are going to be extremely efficient for you to use in your day-to-day life, especially if you're someone who tends to get caught up in your own excuses and eventually not even act on the things that you want to do. So let's dive in. The first language swap that you want to make is, instead of saying, I don't know, you can say, I don't know how, but I do know why. Getting clear on your why is the best way to stay committed to anything. When you are clear on your why and you have an emotional connection to why you're intending to do the thing you want to do, it allows you to stay connected and inspired. And anytime you feel that way towards anything, you are likely going to show up for it, even in the face of resistance and even in the face of not knowing. Most of the time in your life, if you look back at the things that you have figured out along the way, you probably didn't know how you were going to do it in the beginning. Your commitment to the why and maybe even to the end result and why that result matters to you is what kept you showing up for it. And it is when you have this attitude towards the things that you're working on that you can allow yourself to grow and to keep showing up for it, versus if you don't and you ultimately deprive yourself of the opportunity to even figure it out along the way because you're not showing up at all. So if you are tempted to say, I don't know, and just give up on it, or emotionally just say, I really can't, the answer is somewhere out there, I don't know, then remind yourself of your why and accept that it's okay. I don't know how right now, but I do know why. The second language swap that you can make instead of saying, I don't know, is I don't need to know in order to believe. I don't need to know in order to believe. Whether it's to believe that it's working, to believe it's possible, to believe that it's right, the emphasis here is I don't need to know. See, we get so fixated on having to know intellectually because as humans, we are creatures of control. We love feeling in control, and we use our intellect to feel a sense of control or to try to create a sense of control. So anytime you don't know something intellectually, or you cannot have the data or the stats or the backing from experience, your brain is going to want to chuck a fit. It's going to create resistance for you because it's going to offer to you that the fact that there is resistance, the fact that there is a not knowing, all these possibilities that you do not have control over is a problem. And it's up to you to tell your brain to literally have the conversation with yourself and use your words intentionally. So your brain offers you the thought, I don't know, and you're tempted to be just whatever about it, I want you to pull yourself back and say, I don't need to know, but I do believe this will happen, or I do believe that it's working out. I don't need to know. Being able to release the desperation for knowing is an act of surrender. It's also an act of courage and bravery, because knowing and having all the facts before you act, yes, could serve you, but how freaking slow would you be moving towards your goals if you had to know absolutely every single possible outcome and option and scenario before you took a step? It's kind of like window shopping and trying to figure out the dress to wear and just going, let me check another store. Let me check another store. Let me check another store. You're never going to decide, and it's going to take you a bajillion years to decide. And then once you do decide, you may still have the thought that you've got the wrong one, you've made the wrong decision. See, at the root of needing to know is you hanging your security and your sense of certainty on something else. And when you hang your sense of certainty on a circumstance or a certain level of data or information, or having done X amount of activity in order to be certain that it's going to be the right decision, it really doesn't just only slow you down, but it really keeps you more in your analysis paralysis. It's a term that we use to describe when we are so fixated on having data to analyze that we get overwhelmed by the data because there's so much of it. Sometimes you just have to decide that you don't need to know or need to know everything or every step of the process in order to get started. This is a really good tip as well for overcoming perfectionism. Now, on to number 3. If you find yourself saying, I don't know, quite often, you want to swap it for, I don't know, and that's not a problem. I don't know, and it's okay with me. It's similar to the previous one, but notice the joining word here is and. I don't know doesn't end with a full stop. It continues into an and. The reason why we insert the and is so that you can give yourself a positive reason for why you don't need to know. If you say, I don't know, and it's so frustrating. I don't know, and it's so annoying. I don't know, and I don't think it's gonna work out. If you say, I don't know, and then insert a negative reason, you're gonna continue to feel negative. The and is only going to serve you and be effective if you insert a positive reason. So, I don't know, and it's okay. I don't know, and it's gonna work out for me. It always does. I don't know, and I'm okay with that because I'm not supposed to know. Notice the language that you repeat back to yourself and notice whether it makes you feel good. This is part of the skill of neurolinguistic programming and what we do in rewiring our thought patterns. Because when you're so used to thinking negative thoughts or thoughts that make you feel bad, you're ultimately going to continue to paralyze yourself in inaction or perpetuate actions and behaviors that create results that you don't want. In neurolinguistic programming, essentially what we're doing is we're changing the way we're thinking so that we can change how we're feeling and then how we're behaving so that it is in alignment or in favor towards the result we do want to create, not what we don't. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, damn, Nicole, these language swaps are freaking fire. I need more of this in my life. You're in luck because I actually have a free workshop called Consciously Creating Your Life with Your Language. This is a free 90-minute workshop that I have pre-recorded that you can watch and download right now. All you need to do is click the link below in order to access the workshop, and you can also check out all my other free workshops that are also grounded and rooted in these same neurolinguistic programming practices that I teach all of my coaching clients, whether it's business or life coaching. So, on to number 4. The fourth thing that you can say instead of I don't know is I don't know doesn't mean it's not right. Sometimes not knowing is a good thing. Not knowing something for sure doesn't have to mean that it's the wrong decision or a bad decision. There are so many decisions that we make in life that we don't intellectually know or understand, but just feel right. Now, without this being too woo-woo, it's really just about the knowing of your gut that comes from sensations that you do not understand yet with your 5 senses. And whether it's a spiritual interpretation that you want to take or just a scientific one, knowing that we have senses that are beyond just the 3-dimensional, it's important for us to recognize when we have these hunches or these knowings about something or someone, it's because we have a radar or an ability to perceive beyond what our senses, our physical senses, are telling us. So it might be that you're noticing these micro cues that somebody's showing you that's leading you to think there's something fishy about them. It's kind of like when you get that inkling when someone has an agenda or the salesman is trying to convince you to buy something that you don't really need. Like, this is us having this sensory acuity to notice things that are kind of on the micro level. It's how quickly someone's batting their eyelids, or how their lips are moving, or their body language, how their shoulders shrug up. And these are things that we cannot maybe intellectually process or even be aware of, but we have this ability. It's part of our instinctual primal wiring. And so, to keep it simple, trust that intelligence that is inbuilt and hardwired into your system. So even if you don't know, remind yourself that not knowing doesn't mean it's a bad thing or a wrong decision, especially if what you're facing is creating resistance for you. One of the most important things that I tell my clients all of the time in my programs is that it is so important for you to not make resistance or discomfort a negative thing. These 2 experiences are just experiences that we have when something is unfamiliar or foreign to us, or when something is meant for us, but we have to learn a skill in order to access it. Oh my God. My Apple Watch just wants to join the conversation. But you get what I mean, right? So it's so important for you to really recognize when you are responding or reacting to the discomfort or the unfamiliarity of something in a negative way. Remember not to judge your emotions or to judge yourself when you are experiencing something new for the first time, because that's just going to get in the way of your own learning and your own growth. And remember, you cannot be a master at anything. You cannot possibly get anywhere or get to where you want to be from where you are unless you lean into the discomfort of taking the next step. And taking the next step will always inevitably be hard, especially if you've never taken that route before. So don't let the not knowing be a problem. Work with the not knowing and learn to feel through it and work with yourself to get through it. The last swap that you want to make, instead of saying, I don't know, is I do know. I know. Totally counterintuitive. Swap I don't know with I do know. Now, before you say,
Nicole, you crazy girl, what are you talking about? I do know. Clearly I don't know. If I knew, then I would be doing it.
Well, here's the thing. Part of reprogramming your mind is telling it what you want it to do. And so if you are constantly telling yourself, I don't know, then you're going to continue to feel that you don't know. You're going to have the emotional experience of uncertainty over and over and over again. And then you're going to take actions from uncertainty, or you're going to be inactive, not do anything because of that uncertain feeling. But what if you started acting like you did know? What if you started deciding that every decision you make from here is a decision from knowing? Now, it might sound delulu, a little cray-cray, a little bit like irrational and illogical, but that's okay. Because every confident person who attempted something great got to see what was on the other side of that attempt and most likely figured out a solution in the end. You have to be confident to attempt something. So it's almost like that saying, act as if it's already done, act as if you already know, act as if you're already in the end outcome. This is exactly what it means. Let yourself live and feel and emotionally experience the state of certainty. This is what I teach for my business clients in sales, how to actually embody the energy of full certainty. Because just like in a negotiation or in an argument or in anything where you are calling in for what you deserve, okay? You must enter the conversation with confidence, because unless you enter with certainty and confidence of your worth, they are going to win. You're going to somehow believe the proposition that they offer and fall for it. If you want things to go your way in life, you have to be certain about what you deserve and what you are calling in. And you have to be certain that you are worthy of it, certain that your position is 100% the only way it has to be. Now, this could be taken the complete opposite direction. You could use this certainty to convince, to manipulate, but we're not about that. We're all about owning what we deserve. And so even if on an intellectual level, again, or a strategic level, you don't physically know, you don't have the experience, you've not been down this path before, that's okay. Just energetically decide, though, that you do know, at the end of the day, it's all going to work out. I do know that every step I'm taking is the right step. I do know that what's meant for me will come to me, and all I'm doing is showing up for it. And any action I take, I do know that it is always the right step. Like, these are the affirmations you need to be saying. Instead of entertaining the thought, I don't know, start owning your decisions by saying, this is me saying to the universe, I do know what I'm doing. And this is not like to be ignorant or to be like, don't listen to anybody else or don't take advice or pretend like you know. No, this is humility partnered with courage. Okay. And sometimes the courage to act comes with acting as if you are the most confident person, even when you're not. This is what I like to do when I teach my clients to dress up like a total baddie boss, even though they feel so scared or afraid to even show up on camera. This is what I do when I tell my students to put on a fresh face of makeup, to get your energy high, to speak affirmations to yourself before you get on that sales call, because it shows your brain, it shows your body, it teaches you that you are confident, you do know, you are worthy of respect, and it allows you to embody that before you even to step into the circumstance. So it's really, really powerful to practice this acting as if, or the I do know energetic state, because it does change everything. I can't tell you how many times I have adopted this practice in every area of my life, whether it was going for job interviews or having sales conversations, whatever it may be. Anytime that I don't feel confident or certain, I sit myself down and I say, how do I know for sure that I am going to do this, that I'm going to smash it? How do I know for sure that it's going to work out? How do I know for sure that it's meant for me? And I give myself reasons. Even if I have to work a little harder to find those reasons, I don't let myself get up and go until I know for sure that I'm in the energy of certainty and confidence and acting as if it's already done. Walk into every circumstance and situation and project in your life from this state of, I do know it's working. I do know what's meant for me is meant for me. I do know this is the right decision. You will be a creator of your own life. This is a conscious creation practice, okay? That is all for the 5 language swaps for what to say instead of I don't know. I hope this video inspired you and encouraged you to use your words more consciously. And again, if you are interested in learning more from me or understanding how to rewire your mindset and consciously create the life you do want by watching your words and your thoughts, go check out my free workshop in the description below and sign up for that today. It is free. It is accessible to you right now. And also, if you haven't checked out the previous videos in this series, make sure you check that out too. That's all from me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. If you want to take your abundance to another level, I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades.
Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.